Joining us to talk more about the Land Development Code revisions and the process is City Council member Allison Alter. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
So the City Council voted on a first reading back in December, and hundreds of pages of changes were released a couple of weeks ago. Allison, is 2 weeks enough time to digest that amount of information, hear from the public, and move forward with another vote?
No. Less than 2 weeks is not enough time to process all that material and to hear from the public. It's not enough time for the average Austinite to understand what is going on. It is, however, enough time for corporate developers to have an opportunity to lobby for their specific needs that they want to see in the code that advance their corporate interests rather than the public good.
You've said you've opposed the current process for these code revisions. When did you start having concerns, and in your opinion, what needs to be done to fix the process?
So I voted no against this process at every step of the way, and I feel that we really need to make sure that we're doing what we all agree needs to be done. We all agree that the code needs to be rewritten, but it needs to do more than just provide additional units. It needs to be providing affordable units. With everything that's going on with the transition zone mapping in my district, it's delivering only 15 income restricted units.
Soon we're going to be hearing arguments in court over a lawsuit between property owners and the city regarding the right to protest this rewrite. Allison, what are your thoughts on that request? Is it reasonable?
I think it's very reasonable, and in December, 4 of us voted to recognize the protest rights of the community and to put forward an amendment in December. That amendment didn't pass, and I still believe that we should be recognizing the rights of property owners to protest as is offered in the Texas Constitution.
Now, dozens of amendments have been added just in the past week. What issues do you see in the current proposal, and how is council planning to address them?
Well, I think there's 2 issues that I really want people to understand. Is what I'm hearing from folks is a frustration with the process that has eroded their trust in council, and that if we continue down this path, we're doing a real disservice to our community. The second thing that I think people need to understand, as much as we need to focus on the transition zones, we need to understand that the changes that have been adopted in the last few days and in this draft are going to lead to significant upzoning on every residential lot in every neighborhood across the city.
Can you expand on what that is, the upzoning?
Sure. So we have allowed for significant increases in the size of houses that can be on lots, in the number of units, and in terms of, in some cases, allowing for additional impervious cover.
What kind of restrictions are being considered to protect neighborhoods when it comes to transitional zoning? Are there any?
There aren't really, protections. I mean, it's going to be mapped the way that it's mapped, and we did have attempts to amend the draft in December to say that we needed to provide the infrastructure that would support that kind of density, and that was voted down.
And what concerns have you heard from your constituents about the changes recently released?
Really, because they haven't had a lot of time to review it, I'm hearing from a lot of people all over Austin, they're just don't trust the process. They want to have an opportunity to understand what this means for their property, for their neighborhoods, and they don't feel like they have that opportunity. And it means at the end of the day, the product is not delivering what it needs to, in my mind, because this is supposed to be delivering more than more units. It's supposed to be delivering affordable units. And from what we can see from the code, it's just getting us bigger houses in all over the city.
Okay, we are out of time, but City Council member Allison Alter, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your time and your perspective with us tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.